الله الرحمن الرحيم. السلام عليكم TEDx. How's everybody doing? Thank you. So I'd like to take a moment to introduce myself. My name is طاشكندي, as you can see right there. I'm a linguist, I'm a cat lover, I'm a poet, and I have chronic depression. And I'm here to talk about it today. I know it's not the most fun topic to talk about, but I feel like it really needs to have more of a spotlight on it, especially in our society and our culture. For us, for a long time, my affliction, or my life partner, if you will, of depression has been a hindrance in my life. I mean, oh my God, I could talk so much about depression, but I only have 15 minutes, so I'll give you the bare details of it. I've been struggling with depression since before I even knew what depression was. I didn't even know there was a word for it until recently. But for so much of my life, I was bogged down by feelings of despair, of hopelessness, of inadequacy, of simply just not being good enough. I spent so much of my life being weighed down by my own sense of self-worth and not knowing or not being able to tell myself that I was good enough for anything. It was a really bad time of my life, and it's been going on for 10 years. Things really hit a low for me. I think my rock bottom was a couple of years ago. I was a student at Prince Sultan University here in Riyadh, and when I first entered college, I was like a shooting star. I was brilliant. All right, well, okay, not brilliant, but I was really good. I had a 3.7 GPA. I was captain of the debate team. I was president of the drama club, and then my depression started to catch up with me. When something is new and exciting, it's easier to get excited about it. But when things sort of fall into a routine, it's so easy for your old friend depression to come back and just start preying on your insecurities. And so my academic performance went, and I went from being a brilliant A+ student to somebody who's been on academic probation so many times, I don't even know how many. It was just like, oh, you're back on academic probation again. It's fine. That was my rock bottom. And that was when I started to realize that I had a real problem. And I started to realize that I needed help. So I decided to look into it. I decided to figure out what was wrong with me. What was I doing wrong? What was my problem? So I would turn to the internet, as would anyone my age. And I started looking up my symptoms, and then I found out about this thing called depression. Depression is a mental condition, as I'm sure we all know. It affects us by making us feel not sad. It's very easy to confuse depression with sadness because they kind of mean the same thing. But being sad is an emotion, it's a feeling, and it comes with an event. Something makes you sad. A bad grade makes you sad. A fight with your friend makes you sad. But depression is more than that. Depression is emptiness. It's a lack of feeling. It's hopelessness and despair. I feel like a good analogy for depression is being trapped at the bottom of a well and literally just no way up, not being able to get yourself out of that dark place. That's what my depression felt like for a very long time. So I started to work on it. And when I found out what was wrong with me and I figured out what the problem was, I started to be able to work on a solution. So I started reaching out. I started talking to my family, to my friends, and I started telling them, I have this problem. And to my surprise, to my shock, I found out that I wasn't alone. According to recent census statistics, around 80% of the Saudi population, around 70% of the Saudi population is under the age of 30. And around 80% of Saudi Arabia's youth population has experienced symptoms of clinical depression. I am really bad at math, so I'm not even going to try to guess how many people that is, but I know it's a lot. It's a lot of people. And those feelings of despair and hopelessness that I was struggling with every single day, about 9 times out of 10, when I've talked to somebody about feeling depression, their response is, "Me too. I know what you're talking about. I felt it. I've been there." Because of the stigma that we have like this opinion that there's something shameful. الموضوع عيب. And I know because I think we can all relate to this. When I've told people, without mentioning names, that, I have depression, I've heard reactions like, "Ya sheikha, bismillah alayki ma fiki illa al-afiyah. There's nothing wrong with you, you're fine." But the thing is, depression is a physical condition as well as a mental one because it really does debilitate you. It prevents you from living your life. It doesn't, sometimes I couldn't even get out of bed because of my depression. I would be, lying in bed at 8 a.m. I have a class starting in 2 minutes, and I'm just lying there like, yeah, no, it's not going to happen today. Not getting out of bed, no way. But what I don't understand is, a broken leg, for example, will get a cast, right? You never go up to somebody who's walking on crutches and be like, "Ya sheikh, ma fik illa al-afiyah, your leg's not really broken. You're probably just imagining it. Get up, you'll be fine." People don't want to view depression as being a serious condition. And I find that extremely unfortunate because it can be so deeply affecting to so many people's lives. But going back to my earlier point where I mentioned that I was able to start my road to recovery by connecting with the people around me, when I started to help people like me, when I started realizing that there was a problem that needed fixing, and I started to band my friends together, I was able to start on my road to recovery. I mentioned that a couple of years ago, I had hit academic rock bottom. I was struggling so much in school, and I was doing very poorly. Well, I'm happy, very happy, to point out that that didn't last for as long as I was worried that I would. If you had told me 2 years ago that one day I would be standing up on a TEDx stage talking about my depression, I would have laughed so hard that I would have cured my depression. And yet, 2 days ago, this happened. Yeah, see? So yeah, that was cool. 2 years ago, I couldn't even get out of bed to go to class, and there we go. Depression is not curable, not yet at least, and not in any legal ways that I know about. If you do know anything legal I can do to cure my depression, come see me after the talk. I do want to point out, however, 2 things. If you are a person who experiences symptoms of depression, I promise you, it's not always a permanent thing. Things get better. There's always a way to make things better. You don't have to live in that dark place forever. You can reach out to people around you who love you and care about you and want to see you succeed. Build up a support system. Be honest with your family, with your friends, with your loved ones. Find somebody you can confide in and open up to them. And if you are one of those people, if somebody that you love comes to you and tells you that they suffer from something like depression, you can't cast them aside. You have to be able to open up to that aspect of their lives. Believe me, they don't want to make your life harder. Life is hard enough for a person with depression. They don't need to feel guilty about making their family and friends feel bad as well. But In my little group of friends, my squad, my posse of depressed people, the number one thing that we always want people to know about us is that we do need the help, and we wouldn't be reaching out if we didn't. I want to close with some words that one of my fellow speakers told me to inspire me before I got up on the stage. A happiness shared is a happiness doubled, and a sadness shared is a sadness halved. I've been Halved. Thank you so much for listening. Have an amazing night, you guys.